Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today on the video, we are talking about the dreaded mechanics lien. What is it? Why should you care? And how can it really screw up a real estate deal? We're going to talk about that coming up. Hey guys, your old buddy Tim back in the Revolved Realty Hammer and Sales Design Studio. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I certainly am, more or less, because what I want to talk about today on the video is something that has come up recently in a deal that I was somewhat involved with, and that is the property had on it what's called a mechanics lien. Now, I am not talking about the traditional mechanics lien in Alabama, where you got one mechanic working and one leaning against the car. Completely different kind of mechanics lien. No, what I am talking about is this. A mechanics lien is a lien that has been filed against a property because the person filing the lien claims that they are owed money. Now, it's called a mechanics lien because the concept goes back to, gosh, the 18th century. A lot of people give Thomas Jefferson credit for bringing the mechanics lien to this country because when they were building the Capitol, a lot of the tradesmen were never getting paid. The money men who were building the buildings sometimes did not pay their bills, so they had a very hard time actually getting craftsmen and artisans to work. So Jefferson said, hey, you know what we used to do back in the old country? We had this thing called a mechanics lien, and basically it allows you, the mechanic, it's what they called tradespeople back then, it allows you to put a legal claim on a property for money that you are owed. Now, mechanics liens have followed us through the ages. They're still around today, and every now and then they raise their ugly head. You'll be in the middle of a real estate deal. The title company will be doing the title work, and they will discover that someone at some point has put a lien on the property. An example might be a carpenter or a bricklayer or anyone who has worked directly on the property who has contributed and spent money and done work and then didn't get paid. And so, as I said, I've seen this a couple of times come up recently, so I thought I would just take a minute and kind of explain what mechanics liens are and why you should always get the title work done on a property to make sure that there are no liens involved. Now, this comes up because recently there was a piece of property that a gentleman owned, and he wanted to sell it to his friend. Well, his friend, right? And so his friend trusted him. They didn't want to spend money on title work. So his friend basically bought the property without doing the title work. The property exchanged hands, and then the friend tried to sell the property, and the title work was done, and turns out there were multiple liens on the property from folks who had done work back before and were never paid. Thanks, buddy. What a friend, right? So what recourse does the owner have who owns the property and didn't know there were liens on it, as well as the person who wanted to buy the property, because they're not going to buy a property with liens on it. And here's a very important thing to understand. When a lien is filed on a property, it goes with that property regardless of who the owner is. All right? When a tradesman or a mechanic attaches a lien to a property, it's on that property, not on the owner. So if that property does manage to change hands without the correct title work being done, whoever is the current owner of the property, they cannot do anything legally with that property unless those liens are settled. Now, how do you handle those? Well, you can pay them off. You can go to court if you think they are invalid, and many liens are. They are attached to property without due cause, but it can turn into a real legal mess. And so I thought what I'd do is really quickly, I looked up the requirements here in the good old state of Alabama on how you may have gotten a lien attached. And if you're a tradesman, and I'm on no side of this coin here because I see both sides. If I am hired to do work on a house, I build a deck or I paint or I do whatever, and then I am not paid, I am within my legal right to file a lawsuit or a lien against that property. All right, so here are the requirements in order to file a lien. Number one, it must meet the work requirements. Alabama law states that in order to file a mechanic's lien, the applicant must have made an improvement to the property against which the lien is issued. I can't do work on this house and file a lien on that one. It only can be done on this one. Improvements can come in many forms, including, listen to this, providing supplies, labor, waste removal, architectural services, engineering services, or any other active labor that adds value to the property. If you hire me to haul off trash and you don't pay me, I can file a mechanic's lien against you. All right? Generally, this involves improvement to the property itself, the land on which the property rests, or attachments or additions to the land. So apparently, if you hire me to put a new roof on your barn, I can attach a lien to the entire property, not just the barn. The lien must meet the relationship requirements. The Alabama Mechanics Lien statutes require that the party filing for the lien be the original contractor, a subcontractor, or their material suppliers and subcontractors. Other parties that may have supplied material to a supplier, therefore, are not protected under the Alabama statutes, meaning that if I'm a contractor and I file a lien against your property, and I didn't pay for materials, the folks that I didn't pay cannot come through my lien to attach to you. Then you have to decide which type of lien is appropriate. Alabama law provides two kinds. The first is a full price lien. Now this kind of lien is appropriate when a party has either directly or has a direct or implied contract with the owner of the property. All right. The second form is the unpaid balance lien. Any worker who does not have a contractual relationship with a property owner can avail himself of this. Now, excuse me, this is an important point to understand. The full price lien is someone, let's say you hire me directly to perform work on your property and you don't pay me, I have recourse through a lien. Well, what if it's one of my workers who does not get paid because you did not pay me? That is an unpaid balance lien, which can also be attached to the property. Then you have to file written notice of intent to file a lien, meaning that if I'm a contractor and I'm going to file a lien against your property, I have to let you know. The notice must include information as the amount, the work performed, the person or organization to whom the money is owed, and the right to attorney's fees and finance charges. If I do file a lien against your property, you may end up paying my lawyer fees. Then I have to file a verified lien statement. The lien statement must be filed in the county probate office where the property is located. Laborers must file within 30 days from the last day worked or provided materials, while original contractors must file within 6 months. So there is somewhat of a statute of limitations. If you did the work for me on my home 7 months ago, you're out of luck because it's going to be 6 months past the date. So, and then you file the suit. Everybody goes to court if there's no settlement, and then there is a judgment awarded. Lien filers have 6 months after the day of work on which to file the lawsuit. A very important notice. So let's go back to the side of the seller. If you have a property and you go to sell that property, chances are title work, a title search is going to be done on that property, and it's going to go back a considerable amount of time. There may be liens on the property that you didn't even realize that were there. Well, guess what? Those liens are now your responsibility, not the person that officially did not pay that person. So you have to keep that in mind. So if title work is done, and these liens are discovered, you have to take care of them before the property can change hands, because no buyer in their right mind is going to buy your property if there's a lien on it. All right. So what can you do? Again, you can look up the lien. You can go back to the person that originally filed the lien. You can offer them amount of money. You can offer to settle. Let me say this. Not all liens are valid liens. I hear stories all the time about contractors unscrupulous contractors who come to homeowners and try to extort money from them. Well, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to file a mechanic's lien. Filing a false lien, while I did not do the research on that, I can imagine that that is not a nice thing. It is probably against the law, and you can probably get yourself into some trouble for that. But if you have a legitimate gripe, if you're a contractor and you've been hired to do some work and you were not paid, this is a mechanism, these big words, mechanism. It's a mechanism that you have through the courts to file. Does that mean you'll ever get paid? No, there are no guarantees, but at least you will have a legal document attached to that property that says you are owed this amount of money. And again, if you're a homeowner, you always need to keep in mind that if you did not do title work when you bought the property, title work for your buyer may show up a lien, and those liens have to be settled before you're going to be able to sell that property, okay? Hey, I got to tell you, one of the guys that I send a lot of my title work to is Stan McDonald and his team at Jacob Title. They are the hometown closers. Stan will go back and he will do the title work, and he will make sure that there are no liens or encumbrances on the property, and you will be clear to close. If you mention to Stan and Jacob Title that you heard about him here on the show, they're going to knock $100 off the price. The other sponsor I want to thank is always my miracle man, Stephen Allen, who is with the mortgage firm. Stephen works with us quite a bit. He's a master at figuring out the exact best mortgage for you, getting you qualified quickly, getting the work to stand so we can have a happy, quick closing. And if you mention to Stephen that you heard about it here on the show, he is going to give you an appraisal absolutely free. That's a $450 value, all right? So there you go. There's probably more than you'll ever need or want to know about mechanics liens. Just keep in mind that anyone can file a mechanics lien, and a mechanics lien can throw a monkey wrench into your real estate deal. Did you see what I did there? Mechanic, monkey wrench? Or is that a plumber? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know my tools very well. So anyway, hey, if I can do anything for you when it comes to real estate, give me a call. 679-0704 is my phone number. Tim@revolved.com is my email. And you can find me on the web at revolved.com or Facebook or LinkedIn. And if I can do anything for you when it comes to real estate, including looking into those pesky liens, hey, I'll help you. Give me a call and I'll talk to you soon.